This module is about task analysis, another powerful procedure for helping you to derive meaningful objectives for your instruction. There's another potent value, though, of being able to do a task analysis, and that is that the task analysis will provide you with the raw material for creating what's known as a procedural guide, with which you might reduce the need for instruction or entirely eliminate it altogether. Skill worth having. Now, in this module, you're going to be doing two kinds of task analyses. The first one is one where you will serve as the source of information. So you're going to do an analysis of a task that you know how to perform very well, even if you have to use one of your hobbies. The other one is called an interview task analysis, and this one is what you're going to be doing mostly on the job, where you will be gathering the information from somebody else, some competent performer, in order to complete a task analysis. So you'll practice both of these here before you're finished. Now let's begin by talking about tasks. What's a task? Well, a task is a series of steps leading to a meaningful outcome. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. A task is out there in the real world. In other words, it's external to the performer. Here's some examples. For example, wash that car, type this letter, interview this applicant, prepare a budget, write a report, fingerprint that suspect, and so on. Each of these has a beginning, a middle, and an end. In contrast, these are not tasks. Mathematics, interviewing, biology, troubleshooting. You see, those are just the names for subject matter. All right, that's a task. Now, what's a skill? Well, a skill is something that you carry around inside of you. You go down the street and you say, I'm a big bag of skills and I'm going to use my skills to perform tasks. So that's the clue. Skills you carry around inside you, and skills are what you use in order to perform tasks, which are external to the world. All right, that's what a skill and a task is. Now, what's a task analysis? Well, a task analysis is a way of making the components of a task visible so that you can look at it. It's kind of like reverse engineering, where you get a product that's working very well, you take it apart to see what makes it tick, so that you can make good decisions that will allow you to create other products which tick as well as the one that you started with. That's what a task analysis is. It is done by observing and talking with exemplary performers, competent performers, and recreating on paper the steps and the decisions that those people make while they are performing their task. Now, there's any number of ways to perform a task analysis. We use one that is flexible, practical, rigorous, and the one that's going to be most useful to you for most of the tasks that you're ever going to have to analyze. It's called flowcharting, and it's not formidable at all. The flowcharting procedure uses only two basic symbols. Actions are put into a rectangle, and decisions are put into a diamond. And that's about it in terms of basic symbols that you're going to be using. So what you'll be doing when you're doing task analyses is describing the actions that are used in the performance of a task. For example, suppose you're going to do a task analysis on sharpening a handful of pencils. This is a task that Peter Pipe likes to use, for example. So that one step might be pick up pencil. Since that's a step that is put into a rectangle. The next item might ask, is it sharp enough? Since this is a decision that you're going to make, and since you're going to do something different as a result of the decision, we would put that in the decision diamond. If the answer is yes, the pencil is sharp enough, then the next step is to put it down and then go back up and pick up another pencil. If the answer is no, it's not sharp enough, then the next step is to sharpen the darn thing. And so on from one end of the task to the other. Now when you're finished, you may have a task analysis that has 3 or 4 or 5 decisions in it, or you may end up with one that has only 2, or you may end up with a task analysis that has no decision diamonds at all. But I remember one person doing a task analysis that turned out to be nothing but decision diamonds. He was doing a task analysis on how to select a horse at a horse race. You know, is one leg too short? Is the tail the right color? Did the horse have the right mother and father? And so on. You can see I'm an expert in horse racing. So here's the procedure for performing a task analysis. First off, select a task. And as I say, the first time around, you're going to select a task that you can perform very well because you're going to be the source of information about how it's done. So say what initiates the task, first off. Write down the cues. Why would you start doing this task? Answer that question. Then draw the steps and or decisions that would take you from one end of the task to the other. And finally, say how you would know when it's time to stop doing the task. Is it because the tire now has the right amount of pressure in it and you put the tools away? Is it because the blood bucket is filled with a blood sample? What is it that causes the task to be completed? Then for your interview task analysis, find someone to work with and select a task that that person knows how to do well and that you don't know how to do very well or at all. Final topic, tact. People who know how to do something very, very well find themselves doing it, quote, automatically. And they've sort of forgotten the kinds of steps and decisions they make along the way. So you can embarrass them greatly by coming along and asking them, why did you do that? They may say, do what? They may not even be aware of doing it. So be gentle while you are doing interview task analyses. This is the form you're going to be using most on the job. But if you're going to work in a modern training and performance services department, you're going to have to interact with people from all levels of the organization while doing these analyses. But nobody's going to let you out of your cubicle if you're abrasive, tactless, or arrogant. So that's why you want to practice the tact as well as the task analysis procedures. All right, it's your turn. Do enough analyses to convince you that you'll be able to do a task analysis next week when you get back to the job, and that you'll be able to do it without the need for supervision.